Welcome back. Now, today we're going to be talking about how we're getting on with our routine. I hope that you saw a lot of cool stuff in this last week of walking around the place. I hope you got out enough. Things can vary in that. It might be too hot during the day. It might be better to walk early in the morning. Personally, I love getting up before the sunrise. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but that's when you see this beautiful change in color. Best light of the day is happening. There's a bird chorus that starts off. I live in a spectacular place, Mount Tamborine in southeast Queensland, so I'm pretty spoiled. But you'd be surprised what you're going to get even in the most dense urban surroundings. The things that you'll see at that time of day are just magnificent. So now I want you to start ramping things up a little bit. If you're not too sore, if there's little niggles and things like that, you might be getting used to your shoes, you might be just using muscles that you're not used to. Don't overdo anything at this stage. If it hurts, don't keep pushing it. Give that a bit of a rest. Maybe just review the stuff that you have. And we're going to go through in this video and talk about footwear. We're going to talk about some shoes and some options that you may have. But firstly, back to your walking in your local area. I hope that you're finding that interesting. For me, I like to vary things a little bit, so I like to get out and about and maybe make a bit of a loop out of it. So it's not just walking to the lamppost and back. If you've got the option, maybe walk through the local park and then come around a different way. Maybe go one way one day and then the reverse that another day. So just keep this interesting. And hopefully you've met some of the people or at least seen some of the local people that might be getting out at the same time as you. In the afternoon's always nice too, if people are coming home from work. Make sure you make this fun for yourself. It's not a chore, so just let that go a little bit if you're putting some pressure on yourself. Now, shoes. Like I said, if you're starting to get sore feet, maybe shoes aren't the best thing that you've got. Again, there's levels and levels with any bits of equipment that you're gonna buy here. Some people, it might be they do it once in a while or a one-off, so they're not gonna spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on shoes. They might just buy some cheaper ones and use them for the time. But if you're gonna get a little bit more serious about this, it's like anything in life. You know, if you're gonna use a tool, get the best tool you can. It was my grandfather's saying, get what you can afford, and then that's going to be the best level you're gonna work at, and you'll appreciate it so much more. So what I've got here, a great friend of mine who has an amazing camping store out Far Outdoors, which is in Boona in the scenic rim, southeast Queensland. She's kindly lent me some of the equipment to be able to use here. Now the ones I'm showing you here are women's shoes, and so that might help you. You know, they've got the nice colors and different sort of styles. But like I said, they can go from kind of the cheaper options, which are fine too, right up to some really hardcore hiking boots that you could literally go do Kokoda or you could go to Mount Everest with. But it just depends on what you're going to do and how much you want to spend on these things. Shoes are a tricky one because people might see it and like the look of it, but it's all about how it's going to perform on your feet. And no two people will fit the same type of shoe. So it's tricky with a review because some people go, oh, I love this brand and this style of shoe has never done me wrong. And particularly with internet buying these days, it's one of those things where people can see it, they can read the review, they get it home and it just doesn't work with their foot. So I recommend you going and trying on a few different pairs and go into a store. You know, they've got people there that are going to help you out and they know how to fit these things right. So it's worth that time invested to buy something. And like I said, if you're going to spend some good money, you don't want to blow it on shoes that are going to cause you pain or wear and rub on spots in your feet, which can just destroy a great walk. Now, this is a brand here, Scarpa. These are very well known and really highly regarded. And then starts off at a low cut boot here. So this here is a little bit more of a trail shoe. And that is great. They're great. And I've gone from having the most hardcore sturdy boots that weigh heaps to super lightweight, and my favorite shoes at the moment are actually barefoot shoes. So they virtually got no sole and they just are completely flexible. So yeah, but it depends. If I'm wearing a heavier pack, I'd like to have a bit more foot support there. Now these are lower cut, so they don't have that ankle support. It doesn't hold your ankle really rigid, but that strengthens your ankle too. So there's a couple of schools of thought on that one. This boot here also has this rubber toe. So if you're going to be doing some stuff that's a little bit more off road, off track a bit, you know, into some rougher terrain, not just on the footpaths, this is going to protect your shoe really well. And I really like a rubber toe in my boots personally from years of guiding and getting out and about in some of the more remote areas. So there's soles here, really rigid shank. It's really hard to bend this shoe in, and that gives a good support under your feet, particularly when you're going onto rocks and things. Your foot isn't bending over everything. So that is a good lightweight shoe that you're going to have. Now we're going to compare that to some other ones that we've got here. So this one here comes in a nice shade of color. This is Keen, and again, it's got the rubber toe there. These tend to be a nice wide shoe for your foot, if you've got a wider foot. And again, these guys are running a really quite rigid sole in here, but this one's a little more flexible. So, you know, it depends on what you like again, but you know, if you're doing some more of the hard on rocks, on logs, getting off the beaten track a bit more, a harder shank through the middle of your shoe, the support through here, is sometimes a good thing. Not everyone likes that. So again, it's up to you and how you get about. But again, this one's a bit more of a mid cut, so it comes up your ankle a little bit more. You've got these extra points here that you can lock your laces into. So as you come through, you tighten up and they lock into place, and then you tie your bow. So that just gets a little bit more control on how tight or loose you put it through there. Now, they'll help you out. If you go to a camping store, a good store that sells boots, they'll be able to help you out with how to tighten and loosen your shoes and get them all ready. So different people feel, you know, different levels of comfort. They might loosen it at the front, tighten it at the top. That's again up to you, and you'll work through that. Now the support on the inside is a really important thing too. And I do recommend looking for a shoe that is waterproof. So there's a lot out there that are built for fashion. And that's cool on the catwalks of Milan, but you're probably not going to be hiking on the catwalks of Milan too much. So the best bet is to possibly get something that's got a Gore-Tex or something similar, which is just a brand name for a waterproof membrane that breathes. So that keeps your foot nice and dry, because nothing's worse than trudging around with wet feet all day long. It happens. You get caught in the storms, you crossing creeks, but if you can avoid it, that's always a good thing to do. So that's the Keen. And here we have another one here. This is a bit of a different style again. This is another one of the Scarpa boots. Again, nice and rigid through the middle. This has a Vibram sole, which is a type of rubber sole compound, which is really good for durability and for sticking. So this really sticks well, grips onto things quite well. And again, really sort of rugged tracks along the bottom. Again, rubber toe on the front there, and a lot of lacing points through there. So there's a bit of adjustment that you can do. And again, it's got a waterproof membrane inside there. So when you go to a camping store or a shoe store that's going to sell specifically hiking boots, sometimes they have a bit of a ramp or something that you can just test those on. It's always a great idea, and take a little bit of stroll around the shop. They won't let you go for a big hike outside, obviously, but if they've got these sort of things that you can get your foot up onto and stretch them around, I'd recommend doing that and just seeing how that goes for you. So you can see again, quite different in the styles that we've got. So this is the three that I've got here today. But you can go into really lightweight trail running shoes as well. That is a real trend at the moment that a lot of people are really enjoying, to get out and a bit quicker, and you've got much lighter gear. So it just depends on the person. So I hope that's helped you a little bit with shoe selection. But again, please go see people in the camping stores, in the shoe stores, and they're going to help you out and give you the expert advice on that. But try a few out. Don't just stick to one brand because you've heard it's good. Make that judgment yourself.